The Yankees win the series versus the Arizona Diamondbacks. However, they are officially eliminated from postseason contention. So the Yankees will be not playing in October. Playoffs October, technically, obviously. The last game of the season, I think, is October 1st. But this will be the first time that they are not in the playoffs since 2016. That was their last miss. And so from 17 through 22, they had made the playoffs. And this is not something that we've seen a whole lot in the last, 25 years or so. But we knew that this was going to be definitely coming. And it's now official. The Yankees are continuing. They're playing pretty well. This was a very big series for the Arizona Diamondbacks, who, this could have been a very detrimental series loss for Arizona. We'll see. They still, if the season ended right now, they'd be in. But I think there may be a game. They're tied with the Cubs and a game up on the Marlins. And, two of those three teams will get in. But the Yankees, they do also break the rubber game series streak. So they had lost 8 straight rubber games. And we hadn't had one in a while. The last one, I think, was the Tampa Bay Rays series, which was, at this point, 3 weeks ago or so, I guess. Oh, no, it must have been before that, actually. No, I think it was well before that. So the Rays series was the last one. So the Yankees do break that. Aaron Judge has a monster first game. He has his second 3-home run game of the season. And, there's been some struggles there, but the fact that he's still able to do this, and I think he probably will still play the last week of the season. We'll see what they do. On the injury front, more reliever injuries. Wandy Peralta will be done for the season. He was placed in the IL with a left triceps injury, and Tommy Kahnle placed in the IL with a right shoulder inflammation. So called up was Yoendrys Gomez, who was on the 40-man roster. He was a starter in Double-A. We'll see. He has not made an appearance yet, but whatever he does, it'll be his major league debut. And then Matt Bowman is back up. He was warming up in the third game today, but did not come in the game. And this was a ugly series weather-wise. Friday was fine, but then Saturday, Game 2 got pushed to everything got pushed over a day. So this series was supposed to end yesterday, but it ended today. They had to move things around. Arizona was originally supposed to play the White Sox tonight, and they moved that over to Thursday. So they're lucky that they kind of had that available to them. I'm sure they would have found a way to make this happen. Like, if they had to do a doubleheader Sunday, as bad as that would have been, they probably would have tried to just do that. But yeah, the weather for Game 2 and 3 were just brutal. But the Yankees do finish out the home slate, and they finished their home record 42-39, which isn't great. It's above 500, but it's really not anything great at all. And the Yankees now sit 2 games above 500. So as far as that goes, the only things that are left that are interesting to think about from a standings perspective and record-wise, the Yankees are 2 above 500. So the way I'm seeing this with 6 games to go is I do believe that the Yankees will probably, not definitely, but probably finish at worst at 500. I think it's a matter of, do you finish at 500 or above, right? So for the Yankees to finish under, they'd have to go 1-5 or 0-6. 0-6 is not going to happen. You got 3 games with the Royals to finish it off. 1-5, I suppose could. I suppose you could get swept by the Blue Jays and lose 2 of 3 at the Royals, but I don't think that happens. So I really think it's a matter of, do you finish at 500 or above? Well, obviously, that'll be a conversation point after the next episode. And then as far as finishing in last place, that seems like that's not going to happen either. It seems like the Yankees are 3 games up on the Red Sox. Granted, the Red Sox do have that tiebreaker technically, but the Red Sox final games are against the Rays and the Orioles. So we'll see. I would suspect that's a little bit less for debate. I think the Yankees are probably going to finish in 4th. Nothing's official as far as that goes, but for the Yankee fans, and I was definitely one of them at one point, and I'm just in this kind of no man's land as far as rooting is concerned, but that kind of was hoping for sort of under 500 in last place. That's slipping away a little bit, but nothing's confirmed there. And if you were a fan that wanted to continue the above 500 streak, that is still definitely in play to happen. However, 6 road games coming up. One of them against a Blue Jay team that's playing pretty well right now, and we'll discuss that series after we're done talking about the Arizona one. But yeah, Diamondbacks come to town, and I've been playing some pretty good baseball for the most part, but they're not. It's funny, as good as Arizona's been this year, they finished this series only 3 games better than the Yankees. So this is not like by any means a juggernaut team. They're a young team. Corbin Carroll is just amazing. He's so good. They have some really. Arizona's really got some good players and should be a good team in the years ahead. But the pitching matchup for Game 1 was Brandon Pfaadt, who he is thought highly of, but he's really struggled in his rookie campaign. It's been pretty bad, and that was on display in the first game versus Luke Weaver. So Luke Weaver, the former Diamondback, actually pitched very well, and Luke Weaver will be in line to start the third game against the Blue Jays. So Weaver ends up going 5 1/3 scoreless, and then Johnny Brito comes on for 3 2/3 and only allows 1 run. Brito continues great bulk inning relief success, and so I would assume that Weaver-Brito combination will be there again Thursday against the Blue Jays. But yeah, Johnny Brito continues to be a really nice story, and excited to see what could be for him next year. So the first game, DJ LeMahieu gets the night off. Jake Bauers would man first base. So Florial leads off. Giancarlo Stanton played Game 1, did not play Game 2 or 3. My guess there is with the bad weather that they just didn't want to take the chance. That would be my guess. There's been no talks about him being shut down or anything like that. Could that come out maybe like before tomorrow, before the Blue Jays series? I suppose anything's possible, but we've heard nothing about that. I think it was probably more of a weather-related sit down for Giancarlo. Aaron Judge did play right field in this first game, whereas he DH'd those last 2, and again, I think because of the conditions, it kind of made sense. But yeah. So this was the Aaron Judge game. Aaron Judge, similar to what he did versus the Washington Nationals about a month ago. See, my timing's off here. Yeah, no, it probably honestly was about a month ago that maybe, I don't know, give or take, that Judge had a 3-homer night, and it happens again here. And again, he's 1 batter away in the bottom of the 8th from getting that chance for the 4th homer. That doesn't happen. So unfortunately, he's left sort of sitting there, and it would have been cool to see him get that opportunity. But Judge's numbers just end up being crazy. Like, even though there's been struggles, like this game, he goes 4 for 4 with 6 RBIs. He's got the non-homer hit was a double. So the OPS is above 1 again. I think it left. We'll see. I think it left the series above 1, but I'll confirm that once we get to Game 3. But the Yankees win this one pretty handily. Let's talk about it. In the third, the Yankees really they benefit from an error by Pfaadt, the pitcher, where it probably could have been a 1-2-3 double play off the bat of Peraza after Cabrera gets lit off single. It ends up being first and second, 1 out for Judge, and he hits a 3-run homer to center field. These were impressive home runs. I mean, they usually are when it comes to Judge. And it's a 3-run shot, 420 feet, gives the Yankees a 3-0 lead right there. Weaver continues to pitch well in the 5th inning. The Yankees really break it open. A leadoff double by Oswald Peraza, then an RBI double by Estevan Florial. And for Florial, like I've said, to me, he looks better than I've ever seen him before. I don't think it's going to be enough to really make a difference. Like, I feel like push comes to shove, like, I don't think he's going to be in this Yankee organization for much longer, would be my guess. But I will say that Florial I think he's improving, and I do think that this is someone that definitely has the abilities to be a major league player. To what degree, and will he be a starter, like, in a meaningful way? I don't know, but Florial with an RBI double makes it 4-0, and then right after that, Aaron Judge, his 2nd homer of the night, makes it 6-0. It's his 34th homer of the season. And in the 6th is when they take Weaver out of the game. Brito comes on. to replace Weaver. Again, a really nice job by Luke Weaver. And then in the bottom of the 7th, Judge does it again. He homers. And all these, and again, with Judge, a lot of it is, opposite, dead center, opposite field. And that's, kind of the case with these homers. And it's his 3rd homer of the game, his 35th homer of the season. And again, just I think he is the first Yankee. I think that was to ever have a 2-3 home run games in a season. I believe that was the stat. So the score is now 7-0 Yanks. And yeah, Brito, the only unfortunate part is that with 1 out in the 9th, Yankees going for the shutout. Brito does allow a homer to Christian Walker. So Walker hits his 31st homer of the season, makes it 7-1, and that's the final score. Yankees win it handily. And at that point, we're on a 2-game winning streak. And like I said, the second game, what was supposed to be is postponed. And so Sunday is now game 2. And so Sunday is a matchup, on paper, is a pretty good one between Carlos Rodon and Zach Gallen. But the Yankees won game 1 7-1. Well, the Diamondbacks win game 2 7-1. They return the favor. And like I said, a very ugly, there was a rain delay here. Just the wind was whipping. It was not pretty. Like I said. So, as I mentioned before, no Stanton. He was out of the lineup. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa would play left field in this one. Who else was out? No, I guess no one. No, yeah, I guess that was of import. Kiner-Falefa's in, Stanton out, and then LeMahieu in, Bauer's out. Is basically what it was here. Rodon, got into some trouble in the first inning. Again, for Rodon, got into some trouble in the first, beginning and end with some trouble. In the middle was good. Again, I think Rodon, there's definitely signs of improvement. It's still going to be a very ugly finishing line for Carlos Rodon, as he right now sits at 5.74. He was let down by some defense behind him as well. That didn't help. He pitched fine. It was, I wouldn't say it was a spectacular outing, but he kind of grinded through it, and it was, gave him some length. And, I guess it was more good than bad, but the Yankee offense didn't do anything against Zach Gallen. So first inning, you get a single by Moreno and then Carroll with a single, but it ends up being a second and third situation because Esteban Florial. And it was the Yankees. It was a bad defensive day for the Yankees. This was the game that eliminated the Yankees. So kind of ironic, it kind of makes sense that this was kind of symbolic of things that have gone wrong and, no offense and just not a whole lot going on, sloppy play, and the Yankees would be eliminated after this loss. So, second and third no out, you get a sac fly by Tommy Pham, and then you get a sac fly by Christian Walker, makes it 2-0. Then things settle down for Rodon, and Yankees can't do a whole lot against Zach Gallen. There was some good contact, but not really able to convert at all and get those runs in. So in the 7th, a couple of singles, Pham and Walker. Then Gurriel grounds out, and then Evan Longoria with a hard smash goes off of the glove of Peraza into the outfield. A 2-run single for Longoria makes it 4-0, and that would be all for Rodon. Then Randy Vasquez comes in, and it was a rough outing for Vasquez, who, it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great. I feel like Randy Vasquez has been mostly good, but there's been some struggles lately. Again, he's been in some weird spots as well. Lawler reaches on an error by Kiner-Falefa. This is just a play that it was pretty ugly where I kind of turned my head. I thought Kiner-Falefa caught it. He actually dropped the ball. Again, yeah, the weather's part of it, but he not a great look, but either way. Then you get a wild pitch. There's a walk, so it's bases loaded. Then you get a sac fly by Perdomo, makes it 5-0 Diamondbacks. Ryan Thompson comes on to replace Gallen in the 7th. Puts the Yankees down 1-2-3. Then in the 8th, you get a leadoff double by Corbin Carroll. Kind of a hustle double. And eventually, after a single by Pham, you get an RBI ground up by Christian Walker. In the 8th, Kevin Ginkel comes on and pitches a scoreless 8th inning. And then in the 9th, off of Vasquez, you get an RBI double by Gabriel Moreno. And I think that was on a play. Yeah, I guess they gave him a double. Jake Bauers was in right field at this point. He had pinch hit for Kiner-Falefa and just was an ugly, goes off his glove. I don't know. Florial, it was just ugliness. And really, I think he should have gotten an error. But either way, 7-0. Then Zach McAllister cleans it up there in the top of the 9th. Bottom 9th, Frias comes on for the Diamondbacks. And the Yankees do get a run. Lucky, Jake Bauers gets a wind double. It was an infield double because the ball just curve to the right. And so eventually, like I said, it was a really weird situation. You end up with a bases loaded situation, 2 out, and Judge with a bases loaded walk. So the Yankees shutout is just like the Diamondbacks kind of. This is very, I didn't realize it at the time, but kind of reverse situations, but similar to games 1 and 2. And then Glaber pops out to end it. So the Yankees lose 7-1. They're eliminated from playoff contention. So game 3, this is the one game that actually had, just from a baseball game standpoint, yeah, like it was ugly from the weather's standpoint, but it was a close game. And the other 2 are obviously lopsided. This one, the Yankees, Everson Pereira makes his return, and Pereira actually did well. Pereira gets a couple of hits, so that was good to see. Everson Pereira had not played for a while. He had a bit of a hamstring situation, so to see him back in there was good. I'm sure we'll see him a lot this week, and he had his struggles before he got hurt, so hopefully we'll see him perform. And the pitching matchup in this one, Merrill Kelly for the Diamondbacks, who's a pretty good starter. Not as good as Zach Gallen, but still, Merrill Kelly, he has a 3.38 ERA. Merrill Kelly is definitely one of the better pitchers in the league. A bit of a late bloomer. He's 34 years old, but he's been a good starter for the Diamondbacks over the last few years. So Merrill Kelly, and then Clark Schmidt for the Yankees. And for Clark, this was probably, I assume, his second to last outing of the season. It's been a struggle for Schmidt. I feel like this month has been more down than up for him. I still give him credit. The fact that the 4 pitchers that come to mind, and I don't want to jinx it, right? This is a week to go, that have made it health-wise through the whole season is Clark Schmidt, Garrett Cole, Clay Holmes, and Michael King. Those are the 4 that seem like they have made it from the beginning to the end with no hiccups, injury-wise or anything like that. So Schmidt deserves credit for that. But yeah, he ends up throwing 79 pitches through 4 innings. So I think that if they weren't, I think here what was happening was they were, I don't think they wanted to push him. But I think if this was a game of real import, he probably could have gone 5, but really no more than that. And the point I'm trying to make here is he needs to be more pitch efficient. It was a slog for him. 3 walks in 4 innings, and there was a hit by pitch as well. There was a wild pitch as well. I think for Clark, it hasn't been great lately. Hasn't been disastrous necessarily. Again, he does a good job of kind of keeping them in it, and he did that again here, but it was not great. The Yankee bullpen did a good enough job from there. It ends up being 5 innings of 2-run ball from the Yankee bullpen. But the Yankees did trail early. As Clark Schmidt, right away, the Diamondbacks score a couple of runs, and it would be a 2-run double by Alek Thomas with 2 out to give the Diamondbacks a 2-0 lead. But the Yankees, would eventually get to Merrill Kelly in the 4th. You get a leadoff double by Gleyber Torres, then Austin Wells with a 2-run homer. What was good about this game was the young kids really did contribute in a major way to this win. And so Austin Wells, the 2nd homer of the season. With Wells, there's hope that maybe he could be something. I don't think that's a guarantee at all, and I don't know what next year looks like. But with Wells, you like what he brings to the table. The stats don't look good, but I think he's getting better. And Wells hits a 2-run homer to make it 2-2. Then, like I said, Schmidt goes 4 innings. A good 2 innings from Greg Weissert. Weissert pitches the 5th and 6th and looks pretty good doing it. And I'm sure we'll see a good amount of Weissert in the last week here. In the 7th. Nick Ramirez comes on, and Nick Ramirez, again, not a great pitcher that has pitched a lot for the Yankees this season, and the numbers aren't horrible, but either way, you get a 1-out single by Corbin Carroll, who, like I said, is really good. He gets his 51st steal of the season, and then you get an RBI single by Gabriel Moreno, makes it 3-2 Diamondbacks, and then the Yankees bring on Ian Hamilton, who finishes out the inning. Then in the 7th, Ryan Thompson, who pitched the day before, who the Yankees are very familiar with the Rays, and I think the Yankees have really gotten to Ryan. I mean, from what I remember, the Yankees really started to get to Ryan Thompson late in his Ray career. And Oswald Peraza with a very impressive, it's his first Yankee Stadium home run this season. I'm trying to think if it is, I think he probably had a Yankee Stadium home run last year. I'm not going to check now. Either way, he absolutely crushes this one. It's the 2nd homer of the year. 443 feet for Oswald in the conditions. With the wind being what it was, he just got into that one. So that was good to see. 3-3. And then at the end of the inning, Judge is robbed of a homer by Alek Thomas. Thomas is a really good defensive center fielder for Arizona, and he robs Judge of a homer in all likelihood. So in the 8th inning, Ian Hamilton continues on and he hits Gurriel with one out, and then Emmanuel Rivera, bad pitch by Hamilton on 0-2. Rivera gets a double. Then Ketel Marte pinch hits. He walks, and so that makes the bases loaded. Perdomo strikes out, but then you have Corbin Carroll with the base loaded, 2 out. First pitch, opposite field RBI single, gives Arizona a 4-3 lead. But for Hamilton, he does kind of keep the damage minimal, even though he did, re-give up the lead. Moreno grounds out to Hamilton, so it's 4-3. So Kevin Ginkel comes on. Ginkel as well had pitched the day before. And Ginkel, going into this game, was 9-0. Well, he leaves this game with his first loss of the season. He is now 9-1 as the Yankees put together a pretty impressive 8th inning. Gleyber Torres singles to start it out, then Austin Wells singles. And then from there, Ginkel loses the zone. Volpe walks. Then he does strike out Cabrera. Really bad at bat by Oswaldo Cabrera, who had been showing some signs of life lately, but this wasn't great here. And then Peraza walks. Full count. Really nice at bat by Peraza after he homered the inning before he walks, ties it up before. Then Esteban Florial with an opposite field sac fly to give the Yankees a 5-4 lead. Ginkel is now out of the game. Former Yankee Miguel Castro comes on, and Everson Pereira with a big insurance run. And it's funny, for the few hits that Pereira has had this year, they have kind of been hits that have had, been in some decently big spots. And here he gets an RBI single, makes it 6-4. That would be the score going into the 9th. Clay Holmes comes on and pitches a 1-2-3 9th. Strikes out Pham, strikes out Walker, and Thomas grounds out 2 homes. And the Yankees win the rubber game. They avoid what could have been 9 straight rubber losses. The streak ends at 8. And the Yankees are now 79-77. With 6 games to go, 3 at Toronto, 3 at Kansas City. So now let's talk about this. Yankees played some spoiler versus Diamondbacks, and versus the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays sit in a position where they are looking pretty good to get in, I have to say. For the Yankees to really cause true damage to the Blue Jays, you got to go at least 2-3 to really put a dent in them. And the thing is, with the Astros playing the Mariners this week, and someone has to lose those games, as I look at it, the Blue Jays, they're in a pretty decent spot. I think, I'm anti-Toronto. I'm certainly anti-Astros as well, right? So if I can get one of those teams out, I'll be happy. What would suck is like the Mariners are the team that doesn't get out. That would suck. So I hope one of the Astros and Blue Jays don't make it. Let's look at these pitching matchups. 2 of them are rematches of last week. And it's Michael King versus Kevin Gausman. Looking forward to that one. That was a great pitcher's duel. So I'm really looking forward to see how that one goes. In what you would think would be Michael King's last start of the season. But you don't know. He could get that last start versus Kansas City. What we do know for sure is this will be Garrett Cole's last start of the year. Garrett Cole versus Jose Barrios, which from a Yankee perspective, that's definitely your most favorable matchup. And then, and that was a rematch of the last game of the Yankee Stadium series. And then game 3, Luke Weaver versus Chris Bassett, which is definitely major advantage Toronto. So the one way this gets interesting, if the Yankees win the first 2 games this series, then game 3 becomes, I think, very interesting from a Blue Jay perspective. But right now, Toronto has set themselves up pretty nicely to make the playoffs at this point, but we'd still like to see the Yankees make things a little bit difficult for Toronto. But like I said, I think that ultimately the Blue Jays will probably make the playoffs. So Yankees home slate is done. No more games at Yankee Stadium, and they will finish out at Toronto and at Kansas City. Playing out the string here. Again, the Yankees officially eliminated from postseason